The FBI gave him the bomb. The FBI gave him the target. The FBI gave him the plan. Then they arrested him for terrorism. And the court said that was perfectly legal. Here is why the entrapment defense fails 90% of the time. The entrapment defense sounds simple. If the government makes you commit a crime you would not have committed otherwise, you should go free. But here is what they do not tell you. The courts have twisted this protection into something almost impossible to use. The key word is predisposition. And the government has become terrifyingly good at proving you had it all along. They do not need evidence you planned anything. They just need to show you were willing when they asked. A single text message. An offhand comment to an informant. Even expressing curiosity about extremist ideas online. That is enough to destroy your entrapment defense before trial even begins. But there is one case where the defendant beat them at their own game. Keith Jacobson was a 56-year-old Nebraska farmer. In 1984, he ordered 2 magazines containing images that were legal at the time. 2 years later, the law changed. And for the next 26 months, the government sent him fake catalogs, fake pen pals, and fake organizations. All designed to get him to order illegal material. They created 5 different fictitious organizations. They sent him surveys about sexual attitudes. They even posed as activists fighting for freedom of expression. When Jacobson finally ordered something illegal, they arrested him. But here is where it gets interesting. The Supreme Court looked at this case and saw something that changed federal law forever. If this makes you rethink what you know about government stings, hit that like button. Now let me put this in perspective. The government argued Jacobson was predisposed to commit this crime. Their evidence? He ordered legal material 2 years before. That was it. But the Supreme Court asked a devastating question. Would Jacobson have committed this crime without 26 months of government persuasion? The answer destroyed the prosecution. Justice White wrote that the government may not originate a criminal design and implant it in an innocent person's mind. They cannot manufacture crime. But here is what makes modern cases different. Today's FBI does not need 26 months. They use informants who build relationships over weeks. They find vulnerable people online. And they offer something the Jacobson case never had to deal with. They offer real weapons, real money, and real operational support. The Newburgh 4 case shows exactly how this works. In 2009, the FBI sent an informant into a mosque in New York. He found 4 men struggling financially. He offered them $250,000 to carry out a fake terror attack. He provided fake bombs. He provided fake missiles. He drove them to their targets. When they placed the devices, agents swarmed in. All 4 received 25 years in federal prison. The judge called the whole operation a fantasy terror operation created by the FBI. She said the government did not infiltrate a plot. They created one. But she still had to sentence them. Because under current law, once you take that step, once you place that device, your predisposition is proven. The question of whether you would have done it without government help becomes legally irrelevant. But that is not even the disturbing part. What I am about to tell you changes everything about how you see these cases. The FBI has a pattern. They do not just find terrorists. They find people with mental illness, intellectual disabilities, and desperate financial situations. Then they provide everything needed to commit a crime those people could never have executed alone. Mohammed Mahmoud was 19 years old when an FBI informant contacted him. Over months, agents provided a van, fake explosives, a cell phone detonator, and transportation to the target. A federal judge later noted Mahmoud had mental health issues and was attempting to construct an identity. He got 30 years. Subscribe now if you want to understand how the legal system justifies this. So how does anyone win an entrapment case? The legal standard has 2 tests. The subjective test asks whether the defendant was predisposed to commit the crime. This is the test used in federal courts. The objective test asks whether government conduct would have induced a normally law-abiding person to commit the crime. This test is rarely used. Defense attorneys have to prove a negative. They must show their client had no predisposition before government contact. But the FBI documents everything. Every conversation. Every message. Every moment of hesitation that they eventually overcame. Think about that. The FBI literally records themselves persuading someone and then uses that person's eventual agreement as proof of predisposition. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Does this seem like justice to you? Here is what the Jacobson case actually established that still protects defendants today. The government cannot target someone and then use only post-contact behavior as evidence of predisposition. They need evidence from before they made contact. This is why smart defense attorneys immediately subpoena everything about when the investigation started. If the FBI cannot show their target was planning something before the informant arrived, the defense has an opening. In 2012, a federal appeals court reversed a conviction using exactly this argument. The defendant had no history of violence. No extremist connections. No criminal record. The only evidence of his willingness came from FBI-manufactured scenarios. The court said that was not predisposition. That was creation. This is the narrow path to beating entrapment. The entrapment defense exists to protect citizens from government overreach. But courts have built such high walls around it that climbing over requires nearly perfect circumstances. You need to show you had no predisposition before contact. You need to prove the government used extraordinary inducement. And you need a jury willing to believe that someone who said yes to a crime was actually created by the FBI. Most defendants cannot clear all three bars. But the cases where they do remind us why this protection exists. The government should catch criminals. Not create them. When an informant provides the idea, the means, the money, and the motivation, what exactly did they prevent? That is the question every juror should ask. And that is the question that still haunts federal courtrooms today. Now you understand why the entrapment defense fails and the narrow circumstances where it succeeds. The line between catching criminals